to Pageantry Now. I am the host. Pageantry Now is all about positive pageantry and highlighting the things that you don't normally get to see in pageants. A lot of times you get to see the bloopers from a pageant the day before, or you see reality TV, or you have a controversial question and people are already asking you, about those types of things, but you don't get to really see the difference that title holders make in the community. They are having a positive effect on your community and your planet as well. Oh my goodness, thanks, Pop-Tart. Thanks so much. My new crown, my new title, Mrs. United Nations Ambassador. So you like it? Pretty cool. So this is my New Year's present. So I think it's pretty cool. If you are just joining us for the first time, thank you for being here. Make sure that you subscribe to us at Pageantry Now, or that you follow and like us on Pageantry Now on YouNow, on Instagram at Pageantry Now, and then on YouTube at Facebook at Pageantry Now. Pink would be good. I like this one though because it's green and it kind of goes with my red hair and my blue eyes. Oh, it's tipping. Anyways, we are going to be doing an interview today with a friend of mine. She is Greenwood, Indiana, and she's going to be competing in the Mrs. America system. I'm actually going to probably take this off for a minute. Hey everybody, I see lots of fun. So I hope that you guys are here to help. Hey Cassie, how are you? All right, Layal's here, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pop her in and see if we can guest her. If you haven't already, please that you, like I said, follow us, like us, share this broadcast as much as you can. So I'm taking it off. I love it. I love it. It's gorgeous. Is that not fantastic? Sorry. Just props for the United Nations system because this is a phenomenal crown. So if you'd like more information on the United Nations system, please message me directly and I will give you more information about it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take it off. And then I'm going to go ahead and guest Layal, and she's going to tell us all about herself. But if you see this one, the little symbol, please make sure that you share the broadcast as many times, and then the little circle with the arrow in the middle of it, capture moments as many times as you can. The more captures, the more shares we get, the better it is for our broadcast, and the better it is for Layal, so she gets some publicity and lets people know that she's out there making a difference. So with that being said, let me see if I can get her guested. Hopefully this will work. We're sorry we're running late. We were having some issues, so.
Hi.
Gorgeous, you're here. Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Are you staying warm?
Trying to. This weather's awful.
Everybody is freezing. We keep we keep looking at all of the coastal maps showing all of the freezing weather everywhere. I mean, even northern Florida is getting freezing weather, and Miami, no, not so much. So I'm sorry. I feel badly for you because I know. I mean, hi Cassie, how are you? Mom's on.
Yay.
So I hope. Fingers crossed it stays warm enough. Well, maybe not. I don't know.
I'm still hoping for that 2-hour delay tomorrow morning, I gotta say.
See, for us, we had 10 days off because of the hurricane. So
right.
So we had hurricane weather. So, anyways, I guess it comes with its goods and it's good and it's bad.
True.
So I know who you are, but do me a favor, introduce yourself and tell us your title and the system that you're competing in.
Hi everyone, my name is Layal Olive and I am currently Mrs. Greenwood, Indiana, and I am competing for Mrs. Indiana America this April.
Yay, thank you for being here. And by the way, you look amazing. I haven't seen you since you got married. I mean, you looked beforehand, but being married now, it's like, it's been 2 years. Can you believe it?
No. Went by too fast.
And you guys got to, what has it been 2? Yeah, 2 years. It was 2 years in November. I was like, I want to go back. Did you guys judge this year?
We did state. We did Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and Illinois because they all came to Indianapolis, so it made my life super easy. But I'm really hoping to drag my mom back to nationals this year. I really want to go back.
I guess we'll have to make some phone calls because we were last year. I couldn't go because I was competing in California the same weekend,
Right.
and then this year, even though I didn't contact them until later on because of the hurricane, like I got back swapped. It was kind of a good thing because Miss Universe ended up being the same weekend, so
kind of crazy.
We were busy. We're at Miss Universe, so. All right, so tell me about the Mrs. America pageant because a lot of people may not be familiar with it or familiar with that there are Mrs. pageants at all. So tell us a little bit about it and then about your platform as well.
Okay. So Mrs. pageants are actually a lot of fun. I really, really like being part of it because I kind of get to show off my married side. I'm going to show off my husband a little bit too because he gets to be involved a little bit more than he was when we were just dating and I was competing in USA. But Mrs. America, it's considered the premier pageant system for married women, and it's a really good organization. They do a lot of good. They have their own charity that they have all their girls work towards. It's called Victoria's Voice, and it's a little bit more modest, which is really nice. I don't have to wear a bikini, which I love. I get to wear one piece and a sarong. It's great.
Okay. Go husbands! Yay! Sorry. Yeah, no, so you one piece instead of a bikini, right?
Say that one more time. You kind of broke up a little there.
You get to wear one piece instead of a bikini?
Yes, so you wear a one piece, and our pageant director is absolutely fabulous. She sponsors almost half of our wardrobe. We get pageant shoes, we get the swimsuit, we get the sarong, and we get an opening number dress.
Ooh, fantastic.
It's crazy. She does so much for us. It's absolutely wonderful.
No, that's wonderful. You know what? That's the thing. The unsung heroes. Everybody always asks me if I will start directing again, and I'm like, no. Hardest job in pageantry for anybody that ever sees this. I just want you all to know that the hardest job in pageantry is a director. It requires so much of behind the scenes organization and then having to deal with multiple personalities and being able to keep your vendors, get your sponsors, be able to keep the website updated. No. Anyways, yes, it's good when you've got a good director that supports you and it helps you out and provides different items for you. Do they help you with appearances as well, or?
With appearances, on occasion, they'll throw out different information of things going on, but for the most part, that's kind of up to us of how much we would like to use our local titles, which is kind of nice, so I can kind of work around my busy schedule, and it makes it a little bit more convenient at this level. So I try and stick more around my community, which is nice. I don't have to worry too much about traveling.
That's good. And what do you do primarily appearances for the national pageant, or do you have your own platform that you do appearances for and speak about?
Say that one more time. I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you. You keep breaking up.
Oh, sorry. Slow internet. Do you do appearances for your own platform? Hello, thank you, Hatem. Do you do appearances for your own platform, or do you do them more specifically for the national and the state pageant?
I do my own platform. So my platform is surrounding ovarian cancer awareness and understanding how to recognize the disease and funding for future research. So my best friend, Tiffany, she passed away from ovarian cancer a little while ago. And it was devastating. It was so surprising, and the disease was just terrible. There was nothing that could be done. And it was such a surprise because there was no detection. Absolutely no way of knowing that she had a football-sized tumor.
Oh, gosh.
And no one caught it until she finally was so sick that her husband took her to the hospital. And so, to me, it's crazy that being a woman, there are so many diseases that can drastically affect us, and we don't know about them. Take cervical cancer, for example. I have my own battle with cervical cancer. I have lovely precancerous cells, and I'm in and out of the OBGYN every 3 months for more testing. I've had more surgeries and more biopsies than I care to ever admit. And it's again one of those things no one knows anything about until it hits you. And the hardest part is when you don't have somebody that you can talk to about it, somebody that you can find information from when the information's just not there. And so right now I'm partnering with Overcoming Together in Indianapolis, and I've been working with them for a few years. I'm their public speaker and their social media representative, and I get to go out and hopefully spread as much words and messages as possible to make sure that women are more aware of what's going on with their bodies. Because knowing what's going on inside of your body can make the largest difference, because doctors are busy. It's hard when you're like, well, I feel like I've been bloated for a while. They can write that off to 5 million other things. But you can very easily track that symptom of it being one of the conditions of ovarian cancer. So it's one of those things that it doesn't get enough attention, awareness, and definitely not enough funding for women to be able to go to the doctor and be like, I need to be tested to see if I carry the gene that could ultimately lead to me having a higher risk for ovarian cancer.
No, I think that kids in general, like we hear the word cancer and, you know, it's shocking and it's overcome. I'm a 3-time survivor, and I started off with dysplasia originally. So I was like 23. So with my first dysplasia, and I think that, you know, hearing even precancer was traumatizing. So I can very much, you know, because you go, especially when it has to do with cervical and ovarian, the things that you go through your brain as a woman are, oh my gosh, first of all, am I going to die? Second of all, am I going to be able to be a mom? You know, there's so many other things that affect you as well. Yeah, the scary part is that you don't know, and there's a way to control it. And you know, I know that when they found my tumors, one of them was the size of my hand attached to my heart, and the other one was, oh, thank you, Nikita. And the other one was wrapped around my neck. And I had 8 weeks to live. I got into a car crash. That's the way they found it. I mean, wouldn't have found it otherwise. I had 8 weeks. I mean, once I was diagnosed, I was given 8 weeks to live. So, you know, that was the reality. And, you know, I think that it's got to be hard because you're in your mid-20s, right? You're 24? No, I don't know. You look so young, Layal. How old are you now?
I'm 27, creeping up on 28.
Are you really 27? Oh my gosh.
I know, I don't look at it all, do I?
You don't. Well, your mom doesn't either. So, like, your mom looks really, really young too. So it's like, gosh. I mean, I thought you guys were sisters when I first met you. I was like, there's just no way. So, anyways, shout out to Cassie. But that's got to be really terrifying, newly married and having to realize that, you know, this could be facing you. And then I'm sure that your friend was very young as well. So going through kind of trauma really kind of makes you be much more aware of your body. And many of us are not. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, as women in general, we're always doing for other people and always caring for other people. And we generally start to put other people's needs ours always. And when it comes time to take care of you, sometimes it's not easy. So I commend you for being there and being a voice, not just for people, you know, to be more aware of their body, but also to, because I'm sure people come up to you and go, oh my gosh, this is what I'm going through. So how do you do that when people come up to you and they say, you know, I was just diagnosed, or I'm going through the same thing?
You froze.
I froze?
You froze.
Oh, no. I'm in Miami. I can't freeze. Let me see. Okay, it won't let me. Let me try it. All right. Kiss, Cassie, can you hear us? Okay, everyone can hear us. I don't know if you can see me yet, Layal.
You're not blurry anymore, but I can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh, wait.
I can hear you now.
See, you're back.
It's so hard because that's the one thing about this is great technology, but it's always difficult. Again, I'm sorry for the late time because we had to restart the computer. So, okay. So how do you deal with people that you meet through the organization that are newly diagnosed or that they've lost somebody to ovarian cancer? How do you deal with that emotionally?
One more time for me, Stacy. I'm so sorry.
Okay, here, let me get.
It's like there's almost like an echo going on.
Yeah, I put my headset. Hold on. There.
You gotta love technology. Well, that works. So that's a hard one. I've had several people that have messaged me, specifically through like Overcoming's website or through their Facebook page, and say, okay, I just got the diagnosis and I have no idea what to do. That is so hard for me because one, I'm not a doctor, so I can't sit there and spout off all of the advice in the world that I would love to give from personal experience, especially since I'm tied to an organization, so I do have to be careful what advice I do and don't give. But the biggest thing I do point out to them is our website. I give them a list of resources. We have a list of doctors that we recommend through our website, which I like, kind of helps narrow down where you can look, because sometimes you want a second opinion, sometimes you want a third opinion. It's nice to be able to have options. And the biggest thing I offer is just emotional support. It's kind of one of those, let's have a conversation. How are you feeling? How's your family doing? Have you told anyone? Have you started the conversation with other doctors? And just kind of be a sounding board for them to be able to have somebody that they can talk to and express their fears. Because especially with being a mom, I've had a few people that it's like, I can't break down in front of my kids. What do I do? I can be the person that they can break down in front of and have an open and honest conversation and not worry about scaring their kids at home. So it's heartbreaking and it's horrible to have to watch other people go through it, but I like that I can at least be some sort of comfort and sounding board and give general type of advice about what they can look for and who they should go talk to.
That's fantastic. Congratulations. Thank you so much for doing that. I mean, I remember, again, when I got diagnosed, I'm a teacher, so I chose not to take off of work when I was through chemo and radiation. And my biggest fear was, how do I tell my students why my hair was falling out or that, something might happen to me? And my doctors really thought it was crazy that I was more concerned about my students and how it would affect them, really focusing on me. But I think focusing on them helped me inevitably come to kind of a grip about it. But not having a sounding board and not having someone be able to go, is this going to be okay? It's hard. It's very, very hard to again, going back to the idea of putting yourself before the people that you love. And how do you take care of them and how do you give them support? So it's fantastic that you're able to, like you said, just give you a place, give you a place to be a sounding board and just add those questions out and those feelings. So now, I know you've been competing for several years. What got you into pageantry? I think we had a conversation, you said you were never competing again. And I was like, okay, I have said those words.
Yeah, well, at the time, I had been competing. I competed most of my childhood. Starting around age 3, I was too shy to leave my mom's leg, believe it or not. Me, terribly shy. Could you imagine? And basically, when I got to middle school and high school, it was too hard because I was too involved, and so I took a break. And then when I was a little bit older in college, I started competing again. And then it was kind of like, okay, I'm getting serious with my boyfriend. I'm looking for a job. Okay, he proposed. I'm fully in my career. Pageantry is probably going to have to take a back seat. And so that's when I started judging. Because it take a lot of time to prepare for. And I was like, well, it's probably not the most responsible thing for me to do. I'm starting a career. I should be focused on it, right? It didn't last very long. Once, while we were on our honeymoon, I asked him, and I went, so Alec, what would you think if I competed in Mrs. Pageant? He looked at me and laughed. He goes, that didn't take too long, did it?
Your honeymoon, there you go. You know, funny because Mike and I was the same thing. Like it was kind of this, because I was done. And I had national titles, international titles, and I was, all right, yeah, we've done this thing. Because I like you. I mean, I didn't start I started when I was 16. But I did, USA, and then when I married, I did Mrs. America.
Mm-hmm.
And then I took a long break, and then cancer actually is what brought me back to pageantry because, having a story to be told really gave me a reason to be able to wear a crown because it's been many doors. So it gave me lots of opportunities. But by the time Michael and I met, we hadn't met until 6 years ago. I was kind of done again. And he's like, one day he said, why don't you do a pageant? And I went, did you just ask me to do a pageant? And he said, yeah, wouldn't that be fun? And I went, do you understand what you're talking I don't think he had it. Yeah, I don't think he had the idea of what it required and what, be happening. And now it's a really good idea. I mean, now he coaches with me. And he judges with me, and he travels with me. He's also a person that does the camera and helps with the video editing. And I'm very certain that 2 years ago he never thought we'd be doing what we do now. So Alec, be very careful what you ask for, or I guess Layal, it's you. Be careful what you ask for, because if you win, then it becomes an even bigger commitment.
Yeah.
What do you think the hardest part of pageants and pageantry is?
Ooh. That one's tough because I feel that's a very different answer for everyone, because it takes a really huge amount of confidence to be able to get on that stage and rock it, no matter what you are wearing or how ridiculous you feel, the fact that you're in a swimsuit and 5-inch heels. It's, for me, I think the hardest thing is the stress beforehand. When I'm in the moment, I'm in the zone and I'm comfortable. But when I'm backstage waiting to walk on that stage, that's when the nerves are bubbling up and I can feel my stomach start to hurt. So for me, it's getting there. It's the day of, the morning of. Once I'm on stage, I'm fine. But for me, the waiting is torture.
Yes, I mean, I think that there's like this adrenaline that happens that you don't recognize, that because I do really well beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
So totally an hour before I go on stage. Everything's prepared, everything's labeled, everything's packed, everything's where it's supposed to be. And then that the adrenaline kicks in. And it's because I still get it judge. I still get it when when I'm at Miss Universe. Here I am at Miss Universe, and I am in a room with 90 contestants from all over the world, and my heart starts pumping, and I'm like, it'll be fine, just stay calm. And then when you get in it, like, oh, this is no big deal. I've been doing this forever. So, I mean, I think that helps, though, because when you've got that adrenaline push, it makes you key on and focus and, I don't want to say shine, but it does give you that sparkle that a lot of people look for. So throughout the years and the different systems that you've competed in, what is your favorite part of competition?
Ooh, my favorite. Evening gown. I know it's like the most common thing to say, but that is definitely the best part, because when I'm in my gown, my hair is done, my makeup's on, I feel unstoppable. It's that invisible crown that just makes you stand that much taller and look back and go, you know what? Win or lose, I'm awesome. And this dress is killer, and I'm going to enjoy every moment of it. And so for me, that's always been the highlight. I think now as an adult, what I enjoy a little bit more is the work up to the pageant. Honestly, I get to go on a lot of fun road trips. I get to meet new people. I get to go shopping, which is always a plus. And it's nice because my mom lives in Ohio. And so it's nice because I can drag her here to see me more often for pageant prep, which is nice because it's the process of getting to the pageant where I remind myself, okay, you should probably not have that third cookie. You should probably go to the gym. I remind myself, you should probably be watching the news. Best version of myself. So it's really that work up to it now that I've really fallen in love with.
Yeah, and I think that, every system has its different things that make it special. I think that consistently, we have 50-50 split between people that love eating down. So it's like that princess effect that happens when you put on the gown. When you put it on, the gown. And sometimes getting to that place is a whole different story. So do you have, in Mrs., the look changes a little bit as far as
it is
the cuts of the dress, the modesty issue. Are you going to use a dress that you've used before, or is there a whole new adventure happening?
Yeah, it was kind of hard transitioning to Mrs. because I was like, what's the line here on what should I be looking like? Because I'm very much a young wife, and it was like, okay, well, are slits appropriate in dresses? Okay, maybe we should put those in the back pile. So that was a little bit hard to get started with last year, the first time I competed, is because it was like, what's the modesty line? Because USA, it's all bets are off. You can be okay. And with America, we knew, okay, probably a step back, and dress length for interview should probably be a little bit longer. With dresses, I am not reusing one of my previous pageant gowns. I love my Miss Ohio USA gown to the bottom of my core, but I choose with it with the way I walked in it. The bottom, it just kept getting caught underneath, and it just didn't flow as well as I had hoped on stage. And so as much as I love it, it would probably be a fortune to fix the bottom. So we kind of nixed that one for this year. And it's one of those that I'll always go back to whenever I need a fancy, beautiful gown. I did buy a new dress for this year.
You can always wear it to judge. I mean, there's always opportunities to wear it. So you don't have to wear it for competition. So, but I know. Like I said, I competed in America, but in America still, it's like Miss USA is here, and then America is like right here. So there's still kind of, it's really the progression to go to, as far as being, it's kind of like a combination between Miss America and Miss USA.
It is.
So
I agree to that.
I mean, do you agree to that? I think that that's
Yeah.
been pretty much what I've been able. It's kind of like it's the look, but the interview and being able to speak well and being able to represent. So there is a lot of community service. So you've got that. There is an attempt, but you still have to have a very polished look for it as well. So I think you'll do well. So through, are you doing any are you using a coach now, or shouldn't we talk about that? We shouldn't talk. Or do you just rely on mom? Sorry. I mean, I think that pageant coaching is valid. So I think that probably you don't have to say who you're coaching with if you are, but I think that having a coach helps you significantly because it focuses on what's going to on using what. Yeah.
I love that's really on. And I, Julie, the pageant director for Mrs. Indiana, has been absolutely fabulous. Whenever I have a question or I'm concerned about something, I know I can shoot her a text and be like, okay, in all honesty, what do you think of this? And she's very, very good with all of her girls and helping them, and I absolutely love being able to have her in my corner as well. She actually came dress shopping with me, which was absolutely amazing. I know. Who
Oh
does
my
that, right?
Are you serious? Well, my director, I have two directors. Well, in the past, pardon me, the last 2 years I've had two directors. One is now my friend. Like I started as a state title and then won nationals and then won internationals. And I go through withdrawals if I don't talk to her every day. She's also 2,000 miles away, so we do a lot of FaceTime, so Skype. But I can't take her shopping with me, but I'll take her into the dressing room to try on. And then my other director for United Nations, she and I have known each other since 2003. The very my very first national pageant on stage, and she was MC, and I fell on stage like Sandra Bullock. And she doesn't remember it, and I'm like, how did you not remember that? But she and I are friends now, so I have to call her and go, okay, does this look okay? Do it look all right? Can I wear this? Can I not wear that? So it's nice when you've got that kind of relationship with your director, that you've got the support that you can go, help. So how does your Alec, how do you feel about all of this?
He surprisingly really gets on board. I was really so I was unsure about, I was a little nervous about recompeting this year, and he just looked at me and he goes, why? Do it. You love doing it. You enjoy every minute of it. And he goes, I don't care. And I love how supportive he is. He's crazy supportive. I could ask him to come shopping with me, and he'd be in the car waiting. He enjoys watching me compete because he sees how much I get out of it, and he sees my confidence go through the roof. And it doesn't hurt to see your beautiful wife and makeup and hair and all that stuff either. So hey.
Darn. You look flawless today, by the way. Actually, your makeup is stunning. Oh, let's not. It's okay. Alec, the piece of advice I can tell you is take an iPad with you. Take an iPad with you. Michael's got yesterday because I just got my crown yesterday, so I had to go pick it up because it was stuck customs. And so Mike actually puts the iPad in the car with him and just drives. And it's like, when we get there, and he's sitting in the car, and they're all like, "Why is he in the car?" I'm like, "He's on his iPad. Don't worry about it. If I need something, I'll text him." So, but he's super. Please don't misunderstand. My husband is super, super supportive. So, he's definitely a pageant husband. There's.
Yep.
Oh, Cassie, thank you. Thank you. I mean, look at this. Is this not crazy? This is insane.
Can we talk about your crown for a second? Dang, that thing is stunning.
Show. Wow. And look at it's handmade.
It's handmade? Oh my goodness.
Handmade. And these are real gemstones.
Wow. Oh my goodness, that is stunning. Talk about beautiful craftsmanship. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Putting it on though is okay. I still haven't gotten used to I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I'm like, how am I gonna wear this out in public?
Is it heavy?
Yes. And it's not heavy, like if you lift it up like this, the second I put it on my head, it's like, oh, that's a little bit more weight than I'm used to. So but it's nice molds.
Oh, I see that. Oh, that is nice.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of give to it, but it's like each one of I don't see it. Each one, it's like wire woven, so each one of the jewels is put in by wire, and then they solder it on the back on each one of the things on the back. Crazy. And look at the sun.
Cool. Very cool.
Sorry, I have to show it off a little bit because I'm like,
hey, it was earned. You deserve that, baby. I like it.
Oh, baby. Oh, boy. And I say this is the last one. I mean, honestly, that one is one that makes me go, okay, if we're just going for sparkles, that's pretty much I almost took a picture of it and messaged it to Sean and went, and yeah, how about this one? Sorry, D. I love you. I don't know if you watch, but I love you. Yeah, no, it's pretty significant. So if you decide that you want to perhaps go to Jamaica, let me know next year. After your adventure with Mrs. America is over, do United Nations. Yeah, it's and the national crown because that's the international one of the crowns. There's 4 international crowns, so it's like Earth, where they have four winners. Mm-hmm. So this is one of the baby international crowns.
Okay.
So there's there's an onyx one, there's the emerald one, and then the overall winner is like yellow, blue, green, turquoise. It's crazy. Anyway. Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Okay. Do you take things like that into consideration when you're going into them? Do you look at the crowns and go, yeah, I could wear that? Or do you do it based on, it's an honest question. Or do you do it based on the background of the pageant and, what the pageant is about? So, how do you choose your pageant?
Oh, how do I choose them? I try to find one that I feel will fit my personality and what I have to offer because, like you said, all pageant systems are very different, and try to find something that fits me so that I know I'll be a fit. Because if I win, I'm representing this company. I want to make sure I can do a good job. And when I looked at the start of how Mrs. America got its start and why they created it, and the whole purpose about it is showcasing our married women, and I really liked what they said and how they said it. And I like the feel of the organization, and especially after meeting the local director, there was no way that I couldn't fall in love with Mrs. America.
That's awesome. See, that's great. It's important to really be behind the system that you represent.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there's been a lot of controversy because of what happened with Miss America.
Mm-hmm.
So let's be very, very clear that these are two organizations. Miss America and Mrs. America are not the same organization. And not to say that Miss America is not a fantastic organization, because it absolutely is. It is the #1 scholarship program for women in the world. So, you know, it is phenomenal and amazing of itself. For those of you that are not familiar with Mrs. America, you know, the competitions are interview, swimsuit, and evening gown. Do they include on stage now too? As if
yeah, we have evening, swim, interview, and then those are the only 3 judge competition.
So it's just like USA. So it's 33, 33, and 33. Okay,
yep.
Got it. It hasn't changed. So it hasn't changed since I competed when I was 23.
No, they're not making us do talent, which I appreciate very much.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. So if you win if the local wins state, then you go on to the Mrs. America pageant. You represent your state at Mrs. America. If you win Mrs. America, then you go on to Mrs. World. Where's Mrs. World going to be held at this year?
Mrs. World was just in South Africa, and then Mrs. America is scheduled in August in Las Vegas again.
Vegas! I've seen more of Las Vegas in the last 2 years than I ever wanted. Be careful of what you put on your bucket list, because that was a bucket list item for me to go to Las Vegas and see Miss USA.
That would be.
And now I have been too many times.
That would be really fun. I would love. I saw Miss America back in 1997, and I got to go on stage. I was a national winner, and I got to go on stage and meet the new Miss America. It was so much fun, but I was a little bit little to remember all of it, so I'd really like to go back and watch another national pageant.
What's the highest title that you won?
I won a national title in the Young American Miss organization, and then I won a national title for modeling as well.
Awesome. Yay!
Long time ago. I was a little bit younger, a little bit shorter too.
I've been the same size since I was 12. Size is nothing. It's just a number, just like everything else. So let's look at, how do you balance being a wife, being a teacher? Hey, Miss, oh my gosh, hi, sweetheart, I love you. Thanks for being here. Missy, I met here, and then we met in California. Like, we actually physically met. She's people that I shouldn't say that. I've met a couple of people from being on the internet, and then we meet in real life. So, so how do you, Jill, being a wife, being a teacher, being a title holder?
I wish I could say it was easy, because unfortunately my teacher role isn't, just until 3 o'clock, and I get to go home. I'm also their cheerleading and archery coach, so most of my evenings are filled up with that as well. And then I am the technology integration specialist for my school. So if I'm not grading, I am probably on my blog posting new ways to use technology in your classroom. So work-wise has me extremely busy. I love every moment of it. I absolutely love my job. There could not be a better position out there for me, especially the new part with the technology integration. that was my destiny in the teacher world, because when it comes to integrating technology in the classroom, I have so much fun with it, and I know my kids definitely benefit from it as well. Married life, my husband is super supportive. Alec is always there, and if I say, you know what, honey, I don't feel like cooking, and I know you don't want to cook, can we order Chinese tonight? He's perfectly okay with it. So it's nice that I have that flexibility, is he's like easygoing and is okay with whatever. And married life is absolutely amazing. I have a wonderful partner that I know I can count on the days where I'm stressed out. I know I can count on him for some extra help. And then pageant support is more on the weekends. That's kind of my Saturdays. Saturdays are reserved for pageant time, because during the week sometimes it gets too chaotic. I like my sleep. I need a little bit of beauty rest. And I try to balance things, but I'll be honest, it's more of a little bit of a race of, okay, here's my to-do list for this thing. Let's get all of this done, and then we're going to move on to the next item on the list. So I kind of tackle one thing at a time. So I'll do work one day, get that done for whatever grading and lesson planning I need, move on to technology the next day, pageant the next day, cleaning the house last.
There's house cleaning? Where does that happen? There's cooking food? That doesn't happen.
That and laundry, that's the Sunday, squeeze it in there.
I am blessed. That is Michael's job. So Michael does laundry. So, but yeah, I guess that was one of the things that was when I was. So I was a national title for worldwide for the United States,
mm-hmm.
and I was on a plane on Friday and came back Saturday or Monday morning. And I have seen so many amazing things in the United States. If I can say that I have seen the airports and hotels. I met a lot of Uber drivers too, some really great stories about that. But seriously, like I had to. I mean, I'm very lucky now because, and actually through this process, I chose not to be in the classroom as a teacher and became a therapist. So, and I have a gymnastics company, so it's a lot different, but it's mine. Like I went through my degree, certified to become a teacher, and then how can I do all of this stuff and still, handle, lesson plans and grading and keeping up with everything? I went,
oh yeah,
okay, something stop somewhere. So I'm kind of glad that my life has given me that ability, because it's hard. It's hard to be able to balance it all. And I really admire people that do, because that's, being a teacher is very hard.
Yes, it is.
So,
and honestly, unless you're like in front of a classroom of crazy, 12-year-olds with 30 of them all staring at you going, I had a plan and I forget every moment of it because you are scaring me at the moment. And unless you do it, it's really hard to understand how much pressure is on our teachers today, especially because if my only job is to worry about my classroom, piece of cake. That's about 10% of my job, honestly, because if I'm not in meetings, I am being sent to conferences. I'm attending and presenting at different conferences. And don't get me wrong, I love what I do, but it's hard because I don't get paid time when I actually need it for grading or lesson planning. That I all have to do on my free time. So that's when I'm trying to squeeze it in before dinner or right before bed, trying to make sure I'm prepped for the next day. It's a lot of work, and I love it, and I'm able to do it. I work very well at being organized, which is definitely one of my strengths. So I'm able to make it look easier than what it is, but it's a tough job.
Do you think that pageantry prepared for being a teacher?
Yeah, definitely. It teaches me to be quick on my feet, and in pageantry, let's face it, you never know what's going to happen, whether it's a random question that the judge threw at you that you have no idea how to answer, or something goes wrong when you're on stage. You learn how to just roll with it. And being a teacher, you just roll with it. Things go wrong constantly. the lesson plan doesn't work out, the kids finish what should have been an hour-long project in 10 minutes, or, you lose power and you no longer have internet for that day's activity. It teaches you to just kind of roll with it, laugh it off, and try something new.
So you said that you work with technology in the classroom, and then you also work on a blog at integrating technology into the classroom.
Yep.
I assume that comes with social media as well.
So with that role, basically, it's educational technology, so I don't deal with like software or computers going wrong, because when that goes wrong, I call my husband. But it's more of using the new things that are out there that you can use, different programs available, different ways you can use, because all of our kids have MacBooks. They all have beautiful MacBook Airs. The teachers have them. It's expected that it's to be used. So it's teaching the kids how to be responsible using them, teaching them digital citizenship, as well as teaching them new ways of learning. Instead of taking notes while I lecture from front of the classroom, let's flip it. How about you teach the lesson and I grade you on that? So it's a new approach to teaching that a lot of people are embracing, and it's so much fun. I'm actually certified by Google to train teachers using Google products.
That is fantastic.
I have a Google employee ID number. It's fantastic. I love it.
Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
We used to use Hangout, and I used so much, and it's had so many changes, which is why we went to you now. But because Hangout was a lot harder to be able to integrate, like where it was live, like being live stream, because then everybody can and then new people can see us, as opposed to seeing what's happening afterwards, seeing the show afterwards. So, but I love Hangout. So, I mean, I think Google is really, our way of life. So I think that, when it becomes a verb, then just Google it. So, how do you feel social media and technology have affected pageantry?
Did you say how technology has socially affected pageantry? Is that what you said?
So how has technology affected pageantry?
I'm sorry, you're still breaking up. Speaking of technology,
technology, awesome. Okay. Hold on. Stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties. One of our representatives will be with you momentarily. I don't know if it's affected or affected. I'm sorry.
Oh, social media and technology affected pageantry. Okay, so I did kind of half hear what you said. Okay.
Yes.
So with that, I think there's a lot of good that has come out of it, but at the same time, there's still a little bit of negativity. Whenever you have social media, you always have that chance for negativity. Unfortunately, it comes with the territory. But I think what's really nice with the social media and technology aspect of pageantry is it gets information out there. So whether you're a new competitor looking for information on how to compete, you want to follow the current person who is the crowned Mrs. Indiana, you want to follow her journey to see what she's doing so that you can learn from her. You want to find a website that's going to give you information on pageantry questions. It's really good for pageantry prep. Pinterest, always fantastic. But for social media, for somebody who already has a crown and banner, it's the perfect way to get out your platform, which is amazing because the more people that I have following me, the bigger my voice gets. Because let's face it, I have a big voice. I'm able to get out my message, but when you put one of these on, it spreads it so much faster. I was able to meet the mayor of Indianapolis and he didn't hesitate. I had my crown and banner on and he went, oh yeah, let's take a picture. Let's talk for a second. Without that, it's a little bit harder to get that dialogue. You really have to almost push for it. But when you have that, and then you have social media attached to it, it makes your name get out there faster, and it spreads the message, especially if you're trying to raise funds or you're trying to do for example, a food drive like I did recently this year, that will help you get your message out faster. So with social media, you always have to worry about your negative aspects. There's always that, but it gives you a lot of bonuses for getting out your own message and getting more information.
No, that's and And I think that that's really important. I think that for me, just seeing the evolution of pageantry over the years and seeing, I mean, you have so many followers. I was so amazed at how quickly we shared on Pageantry Now on Facebook,
Yeah.
that you're going to be on the show and how many people viewed that. And I thought, oh my gosh, how many follow what you do, because it was pretty significant. And I think that it'll be interesting once it uploads to YouTube to kind of see what the hits and the shares are like as well, because you clearly are taking the opportunity to use social media to be able to have your voice heard, and it's super important. I mean, that was the reason we started doing Pageantry Now, was that I wanted to be able to highlight these amazing people that are making a difference all over the world. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity if we didn't have internet and we didn't have this technology. And I think that, it takes it from that being all of the negative things that you hear about pageantry to being able to put a face and a story behind it and have people say, oh, wait, she's actually doing amazing with her title. And I think that's super important. So yeah. Kudos to you. How do your students feel about you being a title holder, or do they know?
Being a title holder is really nice as a local title moving up to the state. It was unexpected that they did this year, because last year they didn't do local title holders. And I think it helps tremendously because, one, it gets me out there and in front of people. So I have to practice my public speaking, which, let's face it, it can always be a little nerve-wracking. So it's great prep for being Did I mishear you?
Did I lose you? No, go ahead.
Oh, my students. Oh, they think it's hilarious. I teach 7th grade, so they're 12 and 13, and they think it's the coolest thing. They laugh at their dorky teacher, and they go, "You?" Because I don't wear makeup to work, so they get the biggest kick out of when they see pictures. They're like, "Mrs. Olive, is that really you?" And they think it's a riot, but they love to help. Because I did my canned food drive back in November before Thanksgiving, and I told my students what I was doing and why, and I got them on board. I raised over 1,000 cans. It was insane. They thought it was awesome that Mrs. Olive has a crown and she's going to deliver food to people. They thought it was the coolest thing. So they were like, we'll help. So they're easily entertained by it, especially when they Google my name. They see different pictures that'll come up from different events. And when I was not married yet, it was the funniest thing because they would find my Miss Ohio photos or different photos from the past, and they were like, that's not you. That can't be you. Our teacher can't be cool.
Sure.
They like it.
I get it here. I get people that are like, you're too old to be a title holder. I'm like, no, I'm not. Yeah, oh yeah. No, I get the whole thing. You're old, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that. I'm like, you have no idea who I am or what I can do. And then when my students find out, like, usually they kind of go, look like Miss Stacy, sort of. You sound like Miss Stacy, but I'm not sure. They don't understand, the rest of the hair's pulled back. I wear no makeup.
Yeah.
We did a big event in November. We had some of the Miss Universe contestants to speak at the facility that I'm at because, hey, Charisma, you. And the facility that I'm at is primarily lower income families. Most of them are single parent homes. And the kids were just freaking out because they are, 9, 11-year-olds going, oh my gosh, they're really queens? And I'm like, yes, they really are. But it's so important to be role models. That's the thing. You become that role model for them, which I think is super, super important. Thank you, Chris. Very sweet of you. So there's a lot of responsibility being a title holder.
Yeah, it's a nice way to be an extra role model in a different way instead of, in dress pants with my notebook and pen. I can be a role model with a crown for them too, so it's kind of fun.
Fantastic. All right, I know you have been kind and you waited so long for us to get through the technical issues, so I appreciate that. We'll go ahead and wrap so you can go work on lesson plans. I'm sorry. But what would you like to share with the audience about your title, about your platform, about the system, anything you want?
Well, firstly, I think the biggest thing is if you are a married woman or you are soon to be married and you would love to try your hand at competing, I definitely recommended the Mrs. America system. It's fantastic. It's very supportive, and it's a great way to kind of boost your confidence because, let's face it, as married women, our priorities are pretty much anything but ourselves. And so being able to sit there and take a moment for yourself and feel beautiful, there's no better feeling than that in the world. And I absolutely love being Mrs. Greenwood, and I cannot wait for the pageant in April and every moment that I get to spread the message for ovarian cancer awareness and maybe with any luck change some policy with the government to make finding a cure a little bit easier, and in the meantime help find testing so that we can find new ways of understanding how this disease works and how to find it early. That's my goal.
You're so amazing. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Wish I was so put together when I was 27. I mean, you really, you're beautiful inside, and that just makes everything else the perfect package. So, you've got such a kind heart, and you're so inspiring, and I'm sure that your students look up to you, and I'm sure your director is very grateful to have someone who are providing support for the pageant and being able to be out in the community and show people, what the pageant is all about, which is super,
Thank you.
It's awesome. You're great. Fantastic. Just if you want or need any help, if you want to just running board, you're always welcome to message me and go, hey, see, I need help. I mean, I am always available, so you do let me know. So
you'll hear from me.
Yay.
I've got the number.
Well, and I'm hoping too that after pageant, you'll touch back with us again and share your pageant. What was the best part of it? I mean, hopefully you walk away with a state crown. So we will continue. I mean, it'd be wonderful to see you continue on to America on the Mrs. America stage, and then onto the Mrs. World stage, so that we can see how the growth goes and what changes happen. Because as you move up, then of course your responsibilities move up too. So that becomes much more of a juggling act. But you know what? That's part of the fun. I think it's part of the excitement. And your voice, so have many more opportunities to speak to, many influential people, and and I mean, you never know. I mean, for me, I got to go to the White House. I got to speak at Congress. I met Steve Harvey. I mean, what? Crazy stuff, things that you would never imagine happen because of pageant. So that would be wonderful to be able to see your progression and see your journey as well. So, how can we find you on social media? Can you tell us where we can find you so that everybody can watch the story as it unfolds? Can you hear me? Now are we breaking up?
Thank you so much for doing this interview.
My pleasure. Sorry. There you go. I'm typing.
On social media. So my Facebook page is Mrs. Greenwood, Indiana 2018. So that's the easiest way to follow me. My Twitter page is strictly teacher related, unfortunately. You can definitely follow that, but all you're going to see is teacher tips.
But that's good though. So maybe they can, because there's teachers that watch the show. So what was your Twitter?
Twitter is just Layal _Olive.
Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you, my love. Thank you so much for being here. Cassie, thank you for letting me borrow your daughter again. Alec, thank you for letting me borrow your wife. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And
keep my fingers crossed for California.
I'm hoping, because honestly, the only thing that'll cut it off is if Miss Universe is in Vegas again and it's Thanksgiving weekend. But what we might do is drive back and forth to LA.
Okay.
So I don't know. We'll see. Yes, that is cool. All right, love. I will talk to you soon, and thank you again for being here. I will share everything on our social media. She's connected on Facebook, so there you go. It is Mrs. Greenwood, Indiana, 2018. Right, Layal? Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, sorry, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. Next week there will be no show because I will be live at the Miss Art Deco pageant and Miss South Florida USA pageant. So the following should be on January 21st. So look for us at 5 p.m. on January 21st. And follow us on social media. Again, everything is Pageantry Now. So YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter is Pageantry Now. And then, of course, here. We appreciate you joining today, and thank you much for hearing about what Layal is doing and how she's making a difference in our world. And hopefully we will see her take the Mrs. Indiana crown in April, and then we'll move on to the America system, or Mrs. America pageant. So with that being said, everybody, thank you so much. Have a great night.